looks like that was a brief tornado that formed there.
It does. I mean, we saw, the dark cloud pretty much on the ground. He was a little far away, but by every indication, Mark is a trained spotter.
Yeah, we think there was definitely a tornado there.
Right.
Can we go back to Mark? Is he back up live, guys? Okay. What about Josh? Do we have him around?
He is up. Josh is up.
Okay, let's bring Josh Lasseter's feed up. One of our chasers is working today. And we'll take that live.
All right, this is full screen view.
Looks like he's on I-35.
Yeah, it looks like he's passing under I-35. I can't tell if he's going, what does that sign say? That said, it looks like he might be going west, because that sign said head north to go to Oklahoma City.
Might be 32 going to Marietta there.
Right.
I need to.
It is highway. Yep, it's highway 32.
He's on 32. He just passed under 35 there.
Okay, so that would mean the storm would kind of be off to his right, but he is. Well, it looks like you can see the heavy rain effects in there.
Marietta, you're good. You guys are good in Marietta, but
yeah, that's
north
good
of
news.
towns, we're worried about it.
Good news in Marietta, though, it does look like they got plenty of rain, so might be definitely seeing some pooling and flooding with that as well. But yeah, it looks like he's continuing to go westbound, just west of Marietta, and
getting his location as we speak.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But yeah, just another view. I don't know which way he's going to be turning necessarily from here. I would think he's in Marietta, but he could be a little farther up. But yeah, he definitely just passed by I-35, and by the looks of it, he's heading westbound currently.
Here's a quick update for the National Weather Service that ties in with our Doppler 12 observation. National Weather Service Center Norman says the hook appears to be very near Oswald Road. That's what we're showing there. And we'll cross I-35 somewhere around mile marker 22. That's give or take. So they gave a range here of 18 to 29. That's a pretty big range. But there is a tornado confirmed there in Love County, as shown by our own storm chaser, Mark Smith. And that will be crossing I-35 somewhere well south of Ardmore. Ardmore, you're not affected by this the way it looks right now. You're not in the tornado warning. Marietta, the storm is off to your north. You can see our live feed here. It's coming in. So we do not have any danger to those two communities at the current time, and definitely it's north of Marietta and moving away to the northeast. We'll be crossing I-35 and heading in the general direction of Lake Murray. So
we do have a new tornado warning in effect now as we're watching. Is that actually, that looks like we're trying to get Mark's feed, trying to get back up. So yeah, we're trying to get a stable shot from our storm chasers. Obviously, there's a lot of chasers out there right now. We have had a confirmed tornado in Love County, which is why we're seeing a new warning going out. And this tornado warning is going to remain in effect until 8:45 p.m. So initially this one was going to expire at 8:15. Now we're kicking the can down for 30 minutes later. And this is for a confirmed tornado located near Overbrook, confirmed by not only our spotter, but by the looks of it, a few more spotters out there that are keeping an eye and following this tornado that is currently moving through Overbrook, northeast at 25 miles per hour. So hazard, damaging tornado, golf ball size hail, and we have confirmed this on New Hope Road, northwest of Marietta. Steve, you're at the wall right now, but the new warning looks to go kind of near Ardmore, but also through Dixon.
I've got that. Let's punch up Max 2, guys. Brady, remember mine, because I wanted to show you that new warning and the parameters for it. Again, if you're in Ardmore, you're barely outside the new warning. If we go to Max 2, we can show you that we do have this brand new tornado warning that Brady just mentioned. Goes till 8:45 p.m. Here's the parameters on that. The polygon tracks just southeast of Ardmore, okay? What's happening here? Well, the storm has deviated a bit more to the left compared to the recent track. It was coming almost due east across Love County, and it's starting to turn a little more to the northeast now, and that's why we have the new direction on the polygon. This is till 8:45 p.m. Does include Dixon. Does include Mansfield, does include the Lake Murray area, but Marietta, you are not included in this warning, and Ardmore, neither are you. But kind of threading the needle there through this region, crossing I-35 somewhere between mile marker 20 and 29, so that's a pretty wide range. We believe it's already crossing I-35 as we speak. And in fact, you can see the hook right here on the back edge of this storm, which is where the tornado is most likely located, crossing I-35 right now and moving into the areas to the east of I-35 and toward Lake Murray. But Dixon, heads up, this storm is headed in your direction. It is a storm containing damaging wind, and we have had at least a couple of confirmations in the last 15 minutes of brief tornadoes in this storm. And again, our concern is being increased now by the storm. Presentation on radar looking a little bit more intense than it was a half hour ago. So we've talked about this cycling effect. Once again, this storm has proven that to be true. The storm has re-strengthened somewhat. Now, in addition to the possibility of a tornado and strong winds, there could be some damaging hail. Nice hail core. When I say nice, I mean well-defined, okay? No hail is nice. There's a well-defined hail core located here south of Ardmore, about 5-6 miles south of Highway 70, and that would also be north in the Lake Murray vicinity. Fairly well-defined hail core there. I'm going to step off the screen for a sec, and we'll do a scan of that hail for you. Let's see how big that might be. But again, tornado warning, brand new one for portions of Carter, Johnston, Love, and Marshall counties. Does not include the city of Ardmore or Marietta at this time. You're out of the woods on that, it appears, just based on the luck of how this storm is moving. Hail core is not that large. We're showing maybe dime to quarter size hail in this, indicating penny here. Could be a little bigger than that, so the hail does not seem to be a main problem. If you go back with me a little while on the loop, I'm going to back this out a little bit. I think we had much larger hail a short time ago, and that is now diminished somewhat across the area. Take a look here. Let me clear the screen on this. So if you watched with us, the hail core was blue. That was probably quarter size just very recently, and now it has weakened once again. But the primary concern, of course, is going to be the velocity on this. What's spinning inside there, and where is it spinning? And we're seeing a hook. You can see that indicated on our Doppler presentation. There's a definite rotation associated with the storm. But they don't have a lot of red and green. We have a broad hook. You can see that located, and draw some arrows for you right through here. You can see a broad hook indicated right there. So that's why we believe that it's right on top of I-35 right now. You don't have a strong red-green couplet. That tends to come and go. Do we have either Mark or Josh available, guys, in the back?
Is that about ready to head over Lake Murray by the looks of it?
Yeah, the maximum rotation is probably just west of Lake Murray. It's a good call there, Brady. In fact, our biggest updraft and strongest rain is here. We think the rotation is just back to the southwest. So we'll be passing over Lake Murray shortly. Hopefully anybody that's out there on the lake already got off a long time ago. That would be a bad deal to be out on any lake in the path of a storm like this.
Yeah, guys, if we want to put up Mark's shot, I mean, even if he can't hear us currently, just to mix it up, we'll get that back up on the wall. Of course, cell service out there pretty rough, and looks like he's getting his camera adjusted too. So actually, let's cut out of that, guys. Looks like he's not looking at where we need him to. Or, nope, there we go. Yeah, okay.
No voice though.
Well, yeah, Mark, do you know what road you're on right now? All right, that's fine. So Mark looks like he's running into a lot of storm chasers. Of course, we've had a confirmed tornado on the ground. Mark has confirmed it. He saw it. We saw it live on air just moments ago. Looks like he's trying to get in position to follow this as it's now going on the other side of I-35. Of course, with Lake Murray around, there's not too many direct routes. You can't just go due east with this. So he's backed up right now. Let's send it back over to Max 1 since currently Mark's kind of just stuck behind some cars at the moment. And yeah, here's the look again. Max 1, same story, just different location as it continues to move to the east. It's this powerful thunderstorm we were talking about at the 6 o'clock news, and it has been producing tornado warning after tornado warning, currently now moving from Love County into parts of Carter County as well. And if I'm looking at it right now, it looks like the most intense part is right here at the back end of the storm, and that's moving over I-35 north of Marietta right now, and importantly as well, south of Ardmore, though it is getting fairly close. When we have is that Highway 72 that goes right there through Ardmore?
70.
Highway 70,
yeah.
And that's where it's heading over right now. And I've driven that road plenty of times, which does kind of put Dixon in the path, which is just to the east of Ardmore. So heads up if you're in Dixon, because we do have what is looking like a confirmed tornado heading in that direction. And you can see with the polygons, again, earlier we thought it was moving east, but now it's kind of back on that northeast track that has gotten it up into the Oklahoma counties to begin with. So southeastern Carter County starting to move into northwest Marshall County, Medill, you're very close to this storm as well. Thank you so much for moving that. Brian Briggs here monitoring as well.
By the way, we do have Josh up. If you want to.
So yeah, guys, we want to get Josh Lassiter, our newest storm chaser, to the Weather Authority team, and we're going to get him in the wall real quick. But again, tornado warning until 8:45, so still got a lot of time left on this as it's starting to knock at the door on Medill, though the strengthening part is currently on I-35 south of Ardmore, heading over Highway 70 as it continues kind of on an northeasterly path. And so here's Josh right now as he's
Highway 3 south of Overbrook.
so he's south of Overbrook, which is where we had that confirmed tornado just moved through. Looks like he's still getting plenty of rain on the dash, and he's got his camera up in the sky as well. And I'm not seeing anything off in the distance as far as touchdowns with this tornado. And I mean, that's one of the things with storm chasers, that they'll set up to see it, but then, you know, they're bound by the roads, whereas the storms are not. So let's go and get back over, and here's the current storm again. We are looking at the tornado warning as it's moving off to the northeast right there, and it does have a severe thunderstorm warning attached to it as well. Just a little bit of both for you right there. And so as we can see, this is going to continue off to the east, and tornado warning, that's actually the old one. We do have the one until 8:45, and so we can still see the back end of this. This is the part, this is going right over Lake Murray, and it looks like the current hail core isn't too large. We are seeing kind of more pea-sized hail right over Lake Murray. This will be on top of Highway 70 very shortly, and it is currently tracking on this path over to Medill, and that is going to be in Marshall County. So again, whether this goes far enough north, I believe Dixon is right there east of Ardmore, kind of between Medill and Ardmore. But as far as the rotation, we're starting to kind of get between two of our radars as well. And so the height on this storm, currently it's come down, but again, we know better than to see a trend. I mean, as of right now, it looks a little weaker than it was west of I-35, but we're not going to get our hopes up with anything when it comes to these storms, because they can cycle up at any point. So this was an old time window I put on areas that should be seeing it fairly shortly. 8:52 for Medill. Again, this is moving at 25 miles an hour. So yes, it's probably already raining in Medill, but as far as the storm back on the back edge of it, that is still a little ways away from where you are. So again, we are going to kind of look off to the west, because we are looking for any more storm development. This is good that we don't see anything more off to the west. We don't want any more. The only thing that is concerning, and it's moving into Bowie right now, is some severe thunderstorm warnings. This one out ahead of it, non-severe, but this one back is a bit severe. Again, these are smaller storms, but we're going to have to keep an eye on these as well as they continue to develop, and just some hail tracks so you can kind of see the path that this storm that is currently tornado warned. And you can see how it kind of just moved to the east, and then it started cutting up a little bit more to the north. That's why we got to stay on top of these, because they are very difficult to pin down with the path. Again, threat types, well, I mean, we're just now into 8 p.m. and this thing, or 8:22, I should say. So we're in the spot. Well, it looks like that they, I believe this is still current. I guess.
Brady, if I can interrupt, I do want to give an update here.
Yep.
Let's switch over to Max 2. I want to give an update from the National Weather Service on this. So tornado warning continues in effect for portions of Carter and Marshall and northeastern Love counties. Okay, that goes until 8:45 p.m. At 8:19 p.m., a couple minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Lake Murray. Now, we've been talking about this. That is this storm that you see moving right across the screen here, and that is moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Hazards include tornado and golf ball size hail. Now, there has not been any additional spottings in the last 10 minutes, but we had this storm has a history of producing tornadoes up until about 10 minutes ago. Since that time, we don't know for sure, but there still is a likelihood that there is, at a minimum, damaging wind and possibly a tornado in this. If you're watching from Ardmore, you can see the storm is passing just to the southeast of town, but the dangerous part of the storm appears to be missing Ardmore, and that's why the National Weather Service does not have Ardmore in the warning. If I do the velocity scale, you can see the most likely spot for a tornado would be with a red and green touch right in here, just over the northern part of Lake Murray. The velocity couplet, the red and green contrast, has definitely maintained itself to some degree for quite some time. But as you watch my loop here, you can see it did get a little weaker here in the last couple of scans. We will not be fooled by this because it has happened several times in the last hour with this storm. Still getting winds to about 65 miles an hour. So at a bare minimum, damaging wind is occurring along the path of this storm. Could be some golf ball hail according to the National Weather Service, and of course the possibility of a tornado itself. This tornado warning will continue until 8:45 p.m. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, give you all a look at the ETAs, and I know that Brady just did that moments ago, but these things are moving, so the data is changing on these things as we go along. Now, I'm going to track the core, which is where the tornado is most likely to be, and move it off to the northeast at 25. So here are some updated ETAs for you for the most dangerous part of the storm. Now, I'd like you all to follow with me on this because I don't want you to get bad information.
Steve, you're blocking it with your move it into a different corner.
Oh. Okay, sure thing. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move this ETA box over here. There we go. My big head was blocking it. Okay, so here's the thing with that. The rain's going to be coming before the core that I'm tracking. The core is the most dangerous part of the storm. That's the part we really care about. Yes, it'll start raining before that, but I think you want to know more about the damaging part of the storm than when it starts raining. Hopefully you're already indoors. It's starting to get dark out there. It's not a time to go out sightseeing, folks. Always stay inside during these type of situations. Now here is an update on what's going on throughout Texoma. We have the one tornado warning smack dab in the middle of the screen. Southeastern Carter does not include Ardmore, does include Dixon. Also, we have that into extreme northeastern Love County and a piece of northwestern Marshall County and a little piece of southwestern Johnston County right there in the middle of Texoma, essentially, is where this tornado warning is. You see it there up close. Outside of that, the yellow is a tornado watch. That goes until 11 o'clock tonight for most of Texoma, not all of it. You can see that it does not include parts of North Texas like Grayson, Fannin, and Lamar counties. They are technically not included in that watch at this time. But we're looking back to the southwest. There's another batch of thunderstorms we're watching with concern. They're coming out of the Wichita Falls, Abilene area. These are two very intense cells. So at the current time, they are not producing tornadoes, but they are producing damaging weather. There are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for both of these. Now, these storms appear to be moving basically almost due east, like so. In fact, I put an arrow on this. Take a look at it here. And the track of the cores would be just about like that. So this is not the best news if you're watching from Gainesville or Sherman or Whitesboro. These storms could affect you in a couple of hours based on their current forward speed. Gainesville could be affected by these between 9:30 and 10, and Sherman, Denison, Whitesboro, Grayson County between 10 and 10:30. Right now, the primary threat with these storms is hail. We don't see a tornadic indication on there, but again, we're under a tornado watch. Things could change. A lot of wind shear in the environment, which is making the situation much more tricky on these. And I want to do a little hail scan inside of here, see what we have in these two storms, if anything of concern. The hail cores are pretty small, as you see there. I'm pleased to show you that. But the tops on these storms are quite considerable. We're still seeing these tops on these thunderstorms over 50,000 feet. When they get that high, they're capable of producing damaging hail as well as high winds. So that's what we have right now on those. Now, do we have either Mark or Josh online right now, guys? Okay, we're suffering that same frustration with poor cell service, but I can promise you that Brady Blackstock is here. Brady, what you got?
Well, yeah, guys, send a Max 1 back to the wall, and we'll just go ahead and reset and talk about, again, what's going on. Steve's gone over it in very good detail, but they've just as we mentioned earlier, they readjust these tornado warnings in real time to compensate for the storm passing through, so areas back behind it aren't still concerned about a lingering tornado warning that is no longer in their area. So again, this is the main storm right here. This has been the pesky one we've been talking about ad nauseum. But I am keeping an eye. Again, I'm not going to let these sneak past me as well. Severe thunderstorm warnings moving in to Montague County, and that would affect more Texas counties as these continue to track to the east, even though again, the storm path on these things have been very tough to nail down. So let's get real close on the one that is tornado warned. You can see the box. It does include Lake Murray. It looks like it's about ready to be over Dixon, heading in towards Mansville as well. As far as Medill, I know I had you standing by, but even though this storm, you can see it kind of spreading out, but that's upper air kind of shearing the tops off this storm. And so you're getting rain out ahead of this storm, but here's the big part right here. Just went north of Lake Murray, going over Highway 70 in towards Dixon. And that does mean Johnston County is actually in this tornado warning, and they're the next one in line. The way this storm is continuing to move, it's not exactly east. That's why they have the polygons kind of shaped to the northeast as it's going to continue to track. And again, until 8:45, which is going to be another 15 minutes. And I don't have any reason to suspect that they're not going to just continue this tornado warning, considering we've had confirmed tornadoes with it. But I am seeing some hail.
He just texted me 1 minute ago.
I am seeing a hail core right over Highway 70, and that is just going to be west of Medill. So Medill, you might be in the clear, but again, look what's down the way. We see Tishomingo. A lot of people living in Tishomingo need to start preparing for this storm that is heading your way. And so as far as the velocity couplet, well, we're not really seeing much of a couplet. I'm seeing less red, a lot of green and some brighter green, which definitely tells me wind gusts are strong in this. But another sign, again, we're not going to get too excited about it, but I am seeing the top of the storm coming down a little bit. So it is not as big as it once was. So that currently means it is slightly weakening, but that doesn't mean it's going to just go away and continue on that trend. We got to continue to watch it. So here is a time window. Again, 25 miles an hour. I believe it's 25 miles an hour, right? We're still
yes, northeast of 25.
Okay, so this is accurate for the core of the storm. Again, like I mentioned, Medill, you're probably seeing some rain. Kingston, you saw some. I know a lot of people in Kingston. You're going to dodge this because the big part is in the back of the storm, and it's moving to the northeast. However, Tishomingo 907, this is going to be overhead. Now, whether this tornado warned by the time it gets there has yet to be seen, but I'm sure we will get an update here within the next 15 minutes before this warning expires, because they have just been kind of layering them in a row over and over. So again, wide view, looking more to the west, that's where the dry line is, forming storms. That one didn't do anything, but also we're not seeing any more storm formation at this hour. That's good because we don't want to worry about any other storms. So really the only shows in town, the one right behind my head, and then these severe thunderstorms that are starting to move into the Texas counties right over Bowie. Again, we're not seeing any warnings with those. Those are left over just to the west in Clay County, but still keeping an eye on those because given the environment, as we've seen, rotation is possible. And again, just to look at the hail tracks associated with these storms as they're moving in. And you can see how this, for a second, this was moving east. We were concerned about Marietta, Thackerville, but instead it went north of Marietta and started cutting up. And it is going to be southeast of Ardmore, but people in Dixon definitely need to be. And I'm looking at the hail tracks down there, and those are not weakening at all. So again, you're going to have to keep an eye on that. Again, the threat types, tornadoes, well, we've already seen one. So strong tornado possible. We're just, we'll get reports. It did go through Overbrook. We'll have to see if there's any reports of damage there momentarily. But it does look like they knocked down the moderate risk at some point on the Storm Prediction Center. That doesn't mean, not necessarily cause for celebration because we're still under an enhanced risk and we do have active storms. But again, hail, thankfully we have not seen giant hail cores associated with this, but high winds of up to 80 miles an hour, I think we have been seeing pretty consistently anywhere 60, 70 miles an hour. So, and flooding, we saw on our storm chaser, Josh, he was, I believe, in Marietta, and there was definitely flooding associated with that as well. So watches and warnings, again, tornado watch in yellow, and you got to kind of give it up for the guys that put these watches in place because they just put these two counties in it in Texas, and I'm looking at that storm. They didn't put a tornado warning on that storm back there, did they, guys?
No, I don't believe so. But I did want to show the ETAs on this.
Okay.
We can punch over on the Max 1. I'll give you a throw to break there, Brady.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How about I jump in and kind of relieve you here for a sec? But we are watching the, as you said, the echo tops, which is on Max 2. If we can punch up on Max 2, the echo tops, which is evidence of the height of the updraft, how tall that is. That's a real important parameter to track overall storm intensity. Now, there's two things we watch. We watch how tall it is and the the tendency for the trend to continue. If it just goes up and down like a yo-yo, that doesn't mean much. That's what we've seen all afternoon and evening with these storms. They'll weaken a little bit, and then 10 minutes later, they strengthen right back up. Like this storm, it did produce a brief tornado about a half hour ago. We haven't had any follow-up observations of that since then. There's still possibility of a tornado in this storm, and a tornado warning will continue for about 10 more minutes, which does affect you in Dixon. And if you're in this area where the tornado warning is, which I'll show you that in a sec, take cover. We are seeing the overall updraft of the echo tops decrease. They've dropped about 8,000 feet in the last half hour. That is really great news. And here is the storm in progress. You can see it's been shrinking somewhat. Now, we still have a storm that is capable of producing a tornado, high winds, heavy rain, and a lot of lightning. If you watch this with me over the last hour, half hour loop, we can see the storm has started to shrink a little bit, but the most intense part of the storm now is located in the vicinity of Dixon. So that's, again, where the maximum danger would be right now. And that tornado warning does continue, again, for about 10 more minutes for really this quadrant of the storm. You're watching from a deal, you're not in the tornado warning. You got some heavy rain going on there. You may get some gusty wind. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. That's the orange polygon, which closely follows the tornado warning polygon. Kind of a curious deal there, but these are accounting for the two dangers in this kind of a thunderstorm. The tornado itself, and then the high winds and hail that can be there without the tornado. So that's what's going on here. In Ardmore, you're out of the woods, Marietta. Luckily, this missed you. It's tracking now to the northeast of Lake Murray and approaching Dixon from the southwest. Now, we're watching a second batch of thunderstorms that is forming. And they're pretty darn intense, coming in across southern Montague County. Now, if you notice how the storms are being stretched out like this, that's a good indication of upper level shear. The winds at 30,000 feet are about 115 miles an hour. So as the storm starts to grow, the wind grabs the top of it and pulls it off downstream. That's why a lot of times you can see the top of the storm 100 miles away before the rain ever gets to you. And we had some of that happening before the sun set this evening. So these are strong. They're not tornadic, but they're strong thunderstorms. There is a thunderstorm warning in effect for this one, located to the west of Bowie in southwestern Montague County. And there's some hail probably in this one here, located southeast of Bowie. So these guys are tracking off to the east, about 25 to 30 miles per hour. And based on that forward speed and their size, we can estimate that portions of North Texas that are in the News 12 viewing area, Cook and Grayson counties, should easily be affected by these storms between now and, let's say, 11 o'clock. Bottom, 11 o'clock, if the storm holds together, it would be there at about that time. Sherman, Denison, a little after 10 o'clock, and Gainesville here at 9:21. So that puts it about 45 minutes away. What can you expect? These storms hold together. You can expect strong winds to possibly 60 miles per hour. Maybe some golf ball hail. We haven't had any reports of anything quite that large, but these storms have had a tendency the last few weeks to produce a lot of hail in the environment, and the atmosphere still suggests that's possible. So big picture, tornado warning storm. We're keeping an eye on that for us.
Hey,
for
Steve.
a few more. Yes.
They are going to be letting the tornado warning for Love County expire here, unless something significant changes, which they don't anticipate at least right now, but that should be within the next few minutes.
Okay, meteorologist Brian Briggs give me an update. And of course, the reason for that, the tornado warned storm is leaving Love County. So the Love County portion of the warning will be allowed to expire very shortly. It's clear the storm has moved across Lake Murray now and is moving up through eastern Carter, northwestern Marshall County, and into southwestern Johnston. We kind of have three counties here right merging where this warning is. And again, that would be in the Dixon area, also Mansville. Right in that area is where the maximum danger is on this thunderstorm. Let me sequence back through, though, to the big map I was showing you, and that does include a tornado watch. All the counties in yellow continue in a tornado watch till 11 o'clock tonight. If you're in this small polygon, and again, the Love County portion is being discontinued. Southeastern Carter, extreme southwestern Johnston, northwestern Marshall, right around Dixon and Mansville. That area is still under tornado warning for just a handful of minutes. And we do see this storm in general trending downward a little bit. Now, do we have, gentlemen, Brady and Brian, do we have anything new from the National Weather Service? And guys in the back, do we have any streaming from our chasers? Okay.
So the only thing new from the Fort Worth office are those storms that I was keeping an eye on. They did a special report. Yeah, those down there. They're not going to put a warning, but I am looking at a picture of marble-sized hail in Bowie. So, I mean, we have been getting, we are seeing hail associated with that storm, though no severe thunderstorm warning on it. Is there any way we can get Max 1 up, guys, in the back? Because I do want to show, Steve was talking about how you can see these storms from 100 miles away. Well, here's the proof. There is our ECU tower cam up in Ada looking to the south, and you can see the top of that storm, and that is about 46,000 feet in the air, I believe. So a pretty tall one right there, and you can kind of see the sun shine on it a little bit as we go later on into the evening. But let me go and just go back over to the radar as well, and you can kind of see the wide view. Of course, they have a flood advisory in effect as well, and it looks like they just put a downstream thunderstorm warning. So let me go ahead and zoom in on that. So that's a good sign. As Brian mentioned earlier, Brian Briggs mentioned that they aren't going to continue this tornado warning, which means we'll be able to wrap up in what looks to be about 5 minutes. So there is a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that does include Tishomingo. So we were mentioning that earlier, that this storm is heading your way, and it is still a very powerful storm, and that one's going to go until 9:15 p.m. And let me go and see if I can pull that up. And okay, so they have officially set to expire the tornado warning at 8:45. So that is good. And as far as the new severe thunderstorm warning, because again, this still is a powerful storm. We're going to be keeping an eye on it, even though it's severe thunderstorm warning for now, and we have seen a weakening trend. We're not going to call it a day just yet. We're not going anywhere. So 8:38 p.m. So this last located near Dixon, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Again, very slow. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail, so thankfully not the much larger storms that we were told at the beginning of this, but radar indicated on this hail damage to vehicles is expected. Wind damage to roofs, sidings, and trees. Locations impacted include Tishomingo, Dixon, Mansville, Ravia, Mill Creek, Russet, and Reagan. So that is where this is going. And of course, you are still under a tornado watch until 11 p.m. So take all these storms you see very seriously, even though, I mean, it is a severe thunderstorm warning, but they are going to let the tornado warning expire in the next 4 minutes. I know he can't hear me, but maybe we can get Mark Smith up on the wall and just take a look at his shot and see if we're seeing anything else. Again, okay, well, yeah, again, we've been having issues with the cell service and the coverage associated with this. But again, tornado warning will expire here in 4 minutes, so that's good news. The new severe thunderstorm warning is on your screen currently, and that is going to include portions, most of Johnston County, including Tishomingo. And so this storm is kind of heading that way, and if it continues to track downstream, if you're in Cole, you're in Atoka, you're keeping an eye on this as well. Kingston, and it looks like Durant, you have officially dodged this storm. It is now moving north of you. So good news in Durant, as this was kind of moving east for a while, but it is starting to kind of really pick up and head more to the north as it continues. So again, severe thunderstorm warning now in effect. We have lingering effects of a tornado warning associated with this, but that is going to be dropping soon. It's actually looks like it's just now passing through Dixon, Mansville, and heading there. And again, this tornado warning will expire at 8:45, so in just a few more minutes. And then the wide view, again, this downward trend we've been seeing. Now, it still has a severe thunderstorm warning, but the hail core has dropped significantly. I'm sure we'll be getting reports from Dixon soon, whether we saw any hail there in Dixon. I know a potential spotter there that we can talk to, and it looks like the velocity, and again, the tops on this storm are about at 48,000 feet. They've dropped down about 10,000 feet since we saw that tornado in Overbrook, just northwest of Marietta a little earlier. So again, kind of going, looking in a little closer, this is heading towards Tishomingo. I'd say about 9 o'clock is good. I mean, that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9:15. And again, just want to stress the wide view. That's the main show in town. And I know I'm kind of covering it up right now with my thing. So let me go ahead and move it. And it looks like, okay, so we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning I do need to make you aware of. And like I said, I was keeping my eye on these storms. So now that we're going to have that tornado warning expire, here's the two storms we're going to be keeping an eye on now. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9:45 p.m. Now, one good thing about this storm is it has not been tornado warned as it was developing to the west. This is just looking to be a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is heading into our Texas counties. So the one story we've been talking about for hours now, that dodged all of Texas counties. But right now, Gainesville, heads up, especially Lake Ray Roberts, Tioga. You're going to be in the direct path of this severe thunderstorm. And then if it continues tracking to the east over the next few hours, Grayson County, especially southern portions of Grayson County, Gunner, Van Alstyne, Howell, heads up, as we do have, this is our second severe thunderstorm. So again, we're going to have 2 active severe thunderstorm warnings as we go into the evening. Of course, our long form coverage will expire at 8:45, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of just do the wide view so we can see. And guys, if you don't mind punching me up at the wall with Max 1. Actually, punch it up with Max 2. You have that out there
Max
already.
2 up here with the ETAs.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to switch over to the wall real quick. And so, yeah, Steve, go with the timing for this new severe thunderstorm.
That's right. These are severe thunderstorms for the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar hail. And the hail may get a little bigger than that in some of these cores. This is tracking east at 40 miles per hour average speed. They've been varying that speed 35 to 45. So I'm taking an average of 40 on this. And once again, we're tracking the core of the storm, not when it starts raining. This is what you care about, the damaging portion of the storm. So based on the width of the storm and the forward speed, if you're watching from Gainesville, Pilot Point, Sherman Denison, Whitesboro, Collinsville, Oak Ridge, all these areas may be impacted by these potentially severe storms in the next couple of hours. They are rated as severe storms right now. Hail is the biggest threat, but damaging wind is also possible in these storms, and they're tracking to the east at 45 miles per hour. So we are going to wrap up our, what we call long form coverage in just a moment. I'm going to let Brady come back in over here and weigh in on us.
I'm keeping my eye on that red button. There it goes.
That's the tornado warning gone. So we're glad to report to you in Dixon and Mansville, places like that, that danger has passed.
Big sigh of relief there for sure, Steve. But of course, just the quick overview. This is the one we were worried about as well. That's going to be moving through the Texas counties. So heads up, we're not done with this yet. We'll be cutting in periodically to keep you updated. And again, heads up in Tishomingo, this storm that produced a tornado is heading in, but no tornado warning. So that means we can call it and wrap it, and just get periodic updates.
That's right. We're breaking in, and don't forget about your Weather Authority app on your cell phone. That is a great resource to have, no matter where you are in the house. Maybe you're not in front of the TV. That bring you the same information you would get by watching us here. So, Brady, we're wrapping up for now.
Yes, that's right. We'll call it, and stay tuned to News 12. Of course, we'll have more updates at 10. We're getting damage reports. Send them to kxii.com/photos, and we'll use them on air if you're in the path of these storms. But that's going to do it. Check back in with us at 10, and of course, we'll be popping in during commercial breaks to update you on these 2 severe thunderstorms.
Okay, bye for now.
We now return you to break.
And when we'll win some